Alright, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachach Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. Let's go into the news. I know some you've been living underneath a rock. It says Venezuela live updates Trump to speak on U.S. capture of Maduro. Let's read about that a little bit. I guess he's about to speak on it. I probably should be watching that, but I gotta do what I gotta do. It says they ain't telling me shit. Well, clearly the Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro just got captured. So what Esau did this morning was, or last night, he did an airstrike somewhere, and then he went in and grabbed him up. And then when you learn about it, when you look into the details, they said that the power went out. It says that there was no air defense that came up against them. So that just tells you that you were already infiltrated. But if you were watching the news, you could see that Maduro, he already knew he was going down. That's why he was dancing. He just celebrated Christmas. He just celebrated New Year's. You know, someone that's going down, that's like somebody that's about to get locked up. He know in his heart he's about to get locked up next time he go to court. So he'll throw a party for himself, and that's what he did. You know, one thing I can say that's a little bit different from him than all these other people are the fact that the difference is he didn't run. You know, the dude from Syria, the same thing happened to him. You know, he was overthrown, and now he's in Russia. So Maduro didn't run. He knew that Esau was coming for his ass. That's why he watches the news. He saw how the CIA and all of that was going to be deployed. He was bombing his boats. He saw all the signs, the propaganda in the news calling him I forgot the name, the Santa, some fucking terrorist organization he was being blamed for. So he saw it. And the only thing I can say is, you kind of a fool when he was praying. I did a video on it. He was praying to Jesus Christ for peace. Well, Jesus Christ gave you exactly what he came here to do. He gave you war. That's all he can give you. Because Jesus Christ don't really exist. It's Caesar Borgia. So you praying to the Edomites gods. And you should learn the Bible. This is why it's important to know who you are in these last days, man. So you don't follow. That's idolatry. So the Lord wasn't defending Maduro because he would have had wisdom. He would have known he was praying to a false god. He would have known not to follow in the footsteps of his forefathers going back to the Northern Kingdom. Okay, well, not his forefathers, but his descendants, I should say. Okay, because when we say forefathers, we're talking about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, you know, the righteous. Our forefathers were righteous. But what I mean is his descendants. He should know his history. How Israel was kicked out of the land because they didn't obey, they broke the commandments. And if he knew that, he would try to get right with the Lord, especially in a time of trouble. You should know that you got a power that's going to fight for you, but he don't know that. And look what it cost him. It didn't just cost him. They took his wife too. Now what is he going to do? He's probably going to set up a puppet government over there. He'll have a regime change. But we know Esau don't know he don't know nothing about foreign policy. He does, but he's wicked. So he's not trying to make your country better by doing that. I saw videos online, it was probably propaganda of Venezuelans in the streets with signs rejoicing that Maduro was ousted. But I'm thinking in my head, do you not see what happened to these other countries when their government was changed when it was regime changed from a foreign land? That don't work. That don't benefit your people. Now he gonna set somebody up that's pro-westernized, and your people are done. Okay, he's gonna have it rampant with homosexuality. Number one. Number two, your jobs and shit, you're gonna lose all that. Your resources, that's being taken away. So you thought it was bad when Maduro was in town. Wait until you see Esau. Let me grab this in the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter. Same shit that's happening over here. You're gonna see uproars of the people. Isaiah 19, verse 1. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's what's gonna happen to your country too. Because even though you took out the head, the body, and try to replace the head, there's some loyalists that Maduro has over there. And they don't appreciate a foreign government setting up a puppet government in that area. So you're gonna have wars like Syria. Ever since Assad guy, whatever the hell his name is, got kicked out, he still got a military there that's still, I mean, it's, they kind of have like a ceasefire, but they're still over there. They didn't run. Where's the whole military gonna go? You gotta kill them all. And that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna continue to fight until the death. So what does that create? That creates instability. So now your country's about to be destabilized. So it don't matter. He's gonna be over here telling people, gonna be rejoicing. Oh, congratulations! No one died. All he had to do is go pay one of these Latinos off. They worship him. I wouldn't trust anybody. What I would do if I was in power in this time and I had this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, I'd look in the Chronicles of the Kings and see what am I supposed to do. That's what this Bible's for. This is a kingdomship mind, not I want peace. You should know the prophecies. That's how I know the Lord ain't dealing with you. You should know that this time was coming. Okay, matter of fact, let me grab this in the book of Daniel. Actually, I didn't even finish this. Isaiah 19:3. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. So the spirit of Egypt's going to fail, which is the spirit of America. He's trying to rouse that American spirit back up, but it's going to fail. No one's going to be roused up about going into a foreign land and sending their kids over there to go steal. Because the internet is exposing this nigga, so you know what you're getting involved in when you join his military. If you don't, well, you're gonna learn when you're fighting up against the Lord. The Lord don't protect you from that, man, and you destroy it. And clearly, we already see videos of women already taking the MOTB, so you have to take the MOTB if you're in the military. I wouldn't be surprised if all of them are already chipped up. And they, especially the younger generation, they're out of their damn minds. So they're gonna have a chip, that RFID microchip in them, and once they do that, you through. You lost before you even went to battle. Isaiah 19 in verse 4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. So, which is Yahweh, the Yahweh of hosts, the Lord of armies. Okay, so he's controlling these different militaries to do exactly what they're doing. And he's going to set over you a cruel Lord. And that whoever he sets up over you, he ain't going to do you any good. It's all to be aligned with his will. And he's a cruel Lord. You see what he does to his own people. The scriptures tell you that he that is evil to himself, to whom can he do good? So you already at a loss. You happy for no reason. But I believe that's propaganda. There's no way in hell. If that same shit happened here in America, that would destabilize America. You might have everyone supposedly hates the duck. But if something happened to the duck and a foreign country set up somebody else, some of y'all might rejoice over that. Some Democrats might start dancing in the streets because of that, because of their hate. But at the same time, you got half the country that will go to war over that. So that'll be unstable. So that's what he just did in a foreign country. Now he's supposed to take him and bring him under his law and do all of that. See, you should have just been obedient. And that's what's going to happen to everybody who's following other gods. You're going to fall, you're going to fail too. Let me grab this in the book of Ezekiel. No, not Ezekiel. Exodus 21. And Exodus 21 verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So that's what Esau does. He'll steal you, bring you into a foreign land, persecute your ass. Just like he did to the whole nation of Israel. That's why we over here. But he said if he's found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So that's why the Lord's going to come. And where are we going to be? We're going to be here in Babylon. The people who were stolen. You got stolen goods. Lord calls us his inheritance. You have it. If that's stolen from the Lord and he's coming to get it, what do you think he's going to do to you? What you think the Lord's going to do to Esau Edom? You think he's going to hug him when he sees him? He's going to hug him with over 200 million missiles, man. If that's what you call a hug, that's destruction. Okay? Let me grab this in the book of Micah, chapter 4, in verse number 10. It says, be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail, for now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. There shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies. So we're going to be delivered from the hand of our enemies. Only your enemy will go to your land, rob you, steal you, and bring you over here and persecute you and murder you. That's what they're looking for proof right now to see if he's even alive. He might not even be alive. They might have put him to death. Who knows? We'll see. Supposedly the duck is going to talk about it, but I wouldn't believe a damn word that comes out of his mouth. He told you all types of shit to get to this point. He told you, oh, it was drugs, it was this, it was, it's the boats, it's terrorism, it's fentanyl. No, it's regime change, nigga. You lying ass nigga, we already knew that. Because the thief cometh not, but to steal, kill, and destroy. You know from Psalms 58 and 3, he's estranged from the womb. He's always telling a lie. It's never what he's telling you. He wants to steal your resources, man. That's it. You want to set up another another person who is pro America. That's what he does. He sets people up that's going to be pro for him. So there's companies that he's going to implement. He's going to tell you he's going to send Google, all of that shit. Jobs for the people. But he's going to rob your ass. He's going to send Exxon in there. And all of his oil companies going to have contracts. He probably already had it in his mind before he even went over there. He told his the shareholders, listen, I'm about to go in there. I'll be in there tomorrow around 10 o'clock. I'm going to oust him, pick him up, get him up out of there. You could be there probably, we'll say after the weekend, after I do my speech, I have you in there. You can start bringing your stuff over there. So you can go tell your people the plane flights, we should, you know, all of this shit. Don't worry about the military over there. We already bombed some of their communication systems, so they're not going to be able to have direct connects for a little bit. That'll give us plenty of time to develop a plan. We got them confused right now. And he think that's going to work, but it's not. Because these other nations really don't need these people. They asked them, what is this message? What does this strike tell Iran? And the news was saying that Iran is losing its allies because Syria just got ousted. Now Venezuela, which was an ally with Iran, is another ousted ally. But you don't really need allies when you got power, when you got missiles. And that's what the Lord gave these different nations. They don't need an ally like that. They got tech now. Maduro didn't have it. Discernment could have saved him. He should have knew the pieces of shit that are around him would sell his ass out. They should have been telling him, yo, what are you partying so much for? Don't you know you got beef with the beast? You better be prepared for battle. This ain't the time to dance. You in the wrong season. You celebrating Christmas? What's wrong with you? You pretty much asking to get what happened to you. Ultimately, he fulfilled his purpose with the Lord. Let me grab this from the book of Daniel. He's done. The Lord, he's done with him. Daniel 2, verse 19. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. So he changes the times and the seasons. Right now it's winter. Okay, he changed that. Okay, he's the one who changed the times and the seasons. The different times, I should say, is you might have had one period of this nation ruling, one period when that nation was ruling. Well, he changed that, and he set up another king. Well, Maduro's reign's over. Now he's gonna set up another king. It's ultimately the Lord that does it. Okay, he set up kings and removes kings. Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So he put it in the mind of Esau to wake up, come up with a plan, and execute it the way he executed it on that day, and gave him the victory easily. Probably caught him sleeping, probably had his onesies on. Okay, caught him sleeping. Party's over. And he was warning him off the news. If you were watching the news, he was telling him you got a short time. He was counting the minutes. He knew exactly what time he was gonna go strike Maduro's ass and where he was gonna be and all of that. They came up with a plan. Listen, if we pay off a couple of the people that are around him, they'll sell him out. Same thing that happened to the Haitian president. Look how destabilized that place was right now. So you happy for no reason. If that's what y'all are doing out there. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse number 4. It says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over one that is profitable. So in due time, Yahweh Shai is going to rule. And he's going to set up one that is profitable. He's going to be the one that's profitable, that's going to set up other men that are profitable to be in positions of power. But right now, you got 2/3 of the nation of Israel, they're out of their damn minds. They're out of their damn minds, man. And just yesterday when I was doing a video on Maduro, he supposedly detained 5 Americans. And you got detained the next day. So the Lord ain't dealing with you. He thought he was going to send him to the negotiating table. Now you in the interrogation room. He's bringing up crimes he commits on a daily and persecuting you. Same crime. And he probably didn't even talk to the Congress when he did it. He probably broke all types of laws all types of Geneva codes. You can't just overthrow somebody's country according to his rules, but he don't give a fuck about his rules, because what can you do? What can you do? This is Revelation chapter 13. And where is it? Revelation 13 and what is it? I think it's at the top. I started at the top. Revelation 13 and 1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. So that's talking about NATO and the EU. Well, ultimately it's talking about the Roman Empire, but the beast also synonymous with NATO and the EU. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet was as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So the leopard represents the Greeks. It represents Alexander the Greek. That's when the so-called white man first came into power. Then the bear represents the Medes and the Russians being his feet, because your feet represents the end of the thing, and that's what's going to destroy Esau. But in his mouth of a lion, it represents the British Empire. When you look into that, they had you got to look into their history. Their coat of arms were lions and things like that. So it's pretty much describing Esau and him and how he's going to be destroyed. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast. So the deadly wound being healed is Esau coming out, having this revitalized Roman Empire. This is the image of the beast. He created Rome 2.0. That's what you're living in today. And you can tell by his laws, you can tell by the Senate that he has, the Republican and Democratic Party, that all stemmed from Rome. So that's the wound. That he was wounded, but then he came back. Revelation 13 and 4. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And that's right. That's where a lot of them are at right now. Who's able to make war with him? Now these nations got capability, but they're still sharpening their tools. You know, you got to have a lot of money when it comes to fighting up against Esau. Esau spends, he just hit a record number this year. I think he's going for, I think a billion. He put $1 billion, I think, towards just the military. Probably even more than that. It was a large amount of money, man. 900 million. About, I think it's $1 billion. Put $1 billion towards his military. So that's going to fund a lot of the shit that he's doing. That's already funded. That was part of the bill that he just implemented. He had all this in his mind. All right, we're going to take over Venezuela. Let me allocate $200 million for that. We got to keep sending money to Ukraine. Let me allocate $400 million for that. You know, I'm arming Taiwan. Let me allocate some more money over there. Where else is he going? I just bombed Nigeria. I got to go over there. That's why he's breaking records. If we make it through this year, he's going to break a record next year. Because he's going to have more fronts that he has to fight. But then they were saying something about how China is sending a lot of their doctors to, about 30% of their doctors are in the military. So that's showing an escalation on how ready, prepared they are for war. And if they're at 30%, that just already goes to show you how they think militarily. If they're looking at the nurses and the doctors who are engaged in the military, he's already trying to change your whole medical system into AI. So he's going to send all your nurses and shit, they're going to be going to war. That's how the battle's going to be fought. You're going to have to, all these nurses, all your doctors, they're going to be over there. It's in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. They're going to get trained up, and they're going to be everywhere there's a military front. While you getting advice from a computer. Do you want surgery? Yeah, yes or no? You think we got to go in through the brain. That's all he's going to do. Let me grab us in the book of Joel. As a matter of fact, let me go to Isaiah 14 first. Isaiah 14 and verse number 4. It says that thou shalt take up this parable against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. So there's going to come a point where the king of Babylon is going to get persecuted. He's going to be in a great strait. He's going to be, when he goes to these wars, he's not going to win them all. So he's gonna be persecuted. These other nations that he's going up against are going to get the best of him. And Iran's one of them, or Iran, whatever you want to call it. Isaiah 14:7, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us. So that's when America's destroyed. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. So all the kings of the nations is talking about the kings of the east. They're being raised up to meet you at thy coming. Meaning as you're going down, you're degrading, the worms are spread underneath thee. You're starting to become more destabilized by the day with your dollar. You know, more things being exposed about you. That's going to cause more uproars of the people. And at the same time, you're going to be just like these other countries. But they're on the incline because China already better than you in AI. Russia already defeated you militarily with his in the nuclear sector, missile sector. The nuclear arm race, you lost that. Okay, he already got the hypersonic missiles. Before you get it, he probably gonna blow you might get blown to smithereens. Okay, so as you're going down, they're coming up and they're gonna meet you at a point. Isaiah 14 in verse 10, and they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Yeah, they're going to be mocking your ass. Now you look at your people. Now they're destabilized. Now they're fighting in the streets. Now there's no food over there. There's no water over there. Your dollar collapsed. Now you need help. Where's your allies at? Isaiah chapter 14, verse 11, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. So that's talking about a degrading society. The worms are decaying society. The worms represents your decay. And you can see how this country is not getting better than what it was. Even the Republicans are starting to, people who actually voted for him are actually complaining about him. There's a whole new base being formed. And that's the real base. The base that's really going to rise up. That's really going to give Esau a issue. It says that every hand of the wicked shall fall upon him. That's the base. That word wicked, you go to a mall, and that's talking about the laborers. His whole foundation, his whole party started with you know, the laborers, the construction workers and shit like that. Once they stop working, man, they're gonna gear up. Those are the people that you don't want to see jobless, man. Believe me, I used to work with these people, man. Those are the last people you want to see jobless, because they don't give a fuck. You can't even tell these people to put glasses on their face when they cutting fucking silicone. OSHA got all these different protocols, and if they violate that, they can charge you for it. You telling these people you don't want silicosis and all this shit, they don't give a fuck. So if they don't give a fuck about that, once they stop giving a fuck about their kings and their princes, they coming after whoever they want to come after. And they're out of their fucking minds, man. Isaiah chapter 14, in verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And that word Lucifer means light bearer, or illuminated one. And that's talking about the elites, the Illuminati, as they call it. They claim to be the people that's the shadow government that's controlling everything. Well, how are you falling down? Your wisdom isn't making your plans come to pass anymore. What happened? I thought you were so wise. You kept everything in secret. You got all these celebrities doing all these rituals and shit like that. But you're going to fall. Because they're not the true illuminated ones. The true illuminated ones are the elect of Israel. They actually got the light. We can see the future. They don't see the future. They think they're going to reign forever. But they got a short time left. Let's go to Isaiah 47. They got a short time left and they out of here. Isaiah 47 verse 1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. You ain't gonna be called tender and delicate anymore, because you're gonna be met with war. You've never really been in a war with a foreign country, but that's what's coming. And it's not just gonna be Russia, it's gonna be everyone that bendeth the bow. Everybody that got nuclear capability is gonna turn on you. Except for Israel. Europe's gonna, your EU, NATO, they're gonna turn on you. Saudi Arabia, they're gonna turn on you. Everyone's gonna turn on you. Whoever got thermonuclear capability. Some of these other nations are gonna get hit too, but they're not gonna get obliterated like this place is. Isaiah 47 and 2, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the river. So you're going to take the millstone. You take a millstone to ground something to powder. And that's what you're going to be doing. That's the work of a slave. You're going to be doing that. You're going to be grinding the mill. Instead of telling everybody what to do, you're going to work. Instead of being the boss, you're going to be the laborer. Isaiah 47 and verse 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, and nakedness are your sins. That's what's being uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. And Yahweh Shah is not going to meet you as a man. He came here as a man before. What did you do? You poked him. You poked Yahweh Shah. Now he's gonna get you this time. You can't die anymore. That's over with. He was the lamb. He had to die. He could have sent the legion of angels then. Let me grab that as a matter of fact. Where's that precept at? When he said, I'll send an angel, I'll send a legion of angels, something like that. When the Lord said he'll send a legion of angels, KJV. I don't think he said it like that. I might be wrong. Matthew 26, verse 53. Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? So he could have already sent the angels. He had power to do so then, but he humbled himself to die for the nation of Israel. So he had power to do it then. So he already wanted to destroy your ass before. How much more now? When you've committed way more sins after that. This is before 70 AD. This is before the transatlantic slave trade. You got a lot to pay for. And he's going to bring the legion of angels. And you're going to fight and you're going to lose. Like it tells you in a couple of chapters. Isaiah, Revelation 19, Isaiah 63, 2nd Ezra 13th chapter. That's your end, man. Isaiah 47, verse 4, as for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. That's right. Shall no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. Okay? You're going to get dethroned. And then who's ruling after you? The nation of Israel. What's going to happen after that? Everlasting rulership, righteousness. Let's see what else is in the news, as a matter of fact, while I'm here. Let's see what else. Said anything. Nope. Just stupid shit. Oh yeah, there's some Jake that it says FBI disrupts alleged New Year's Eve attack. Man charged with attempting to provide material support. Charged with attempting to provide material support to ISIS. So it's fucking Jake. That's bullshit. The same thing happened the beginning of 2025. It was a so-called black man in a truck ran over some homosexual with an ISIS flag in his bed. Get the hell out of here, man. Now, Jake, we're so involved with fucking Islamic terrorism. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, man. This dude's full of shit. Same thing's happening this year. He got another Jake doing, well, he looked like a Jake. I don't know if he is. Let me see what it says. Today, the Justice Department and the U.S. Attorney Office for the Western District of North Carolina announced that a Mint Hill, North Carolina man that allegedly planned to use knives and hammers to execute a deadly New Year's Eve attack at a grocery store and a fast food restaurant in support of the Islamic State in Iraq and al-Sham, has been arrested and charged with attempting to provide material support. What the hell is material support? To a foreign terrorist organization. The criminal complaint was filed on December 31st, 2025, and was unsealed today after Christian Sturdivant, 18, appeared in federal court in Charlotte. Christian Sturdivant, 18 years old. Crazy, man. So that's how we starting off the new year, with terrorist attacks, presidents being ousted, kidnapped. That's how the year started. That's pretty much it on that. I don't even want to read the whole article. But I guess he had a plan to pretty much injure all these people. But the real terrorists are you so-called white people. Get the fuck out of here. Don't ever forget that. You niggas march down the road with fucking wizard hats on your fucking head. You people got a lot of fucking nerve, man. And that's who runs your fucking government. A bunch of wizards. A bunch of warlocks. Fuck out of here. But they always want to put Jake as the forefront of evil. But it don't work. You're already being uncovered. You got a short time and you're going to be destroyed. We'll see how those Ku Klux Klan hats work when you go into the kingdom of heaven. We're going to see what Jesus Christ is going to do for you then. or your ass is getting beat alive. Getting your ass fucking kicked by some niggas. You the real nigga. You the real nigga. That's why your country's being destabilized by your own people. You about to collapse. It's the book of Mark, chapter 3, and verse number 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. So you're seeing that the house is divided, not just politically, just on all levels. Morally, politically, spiritually. They can't agree on anything. That's going to come to an end when they go to war with each other. Like it says in Isaiah the 19th chapter, Egyptians shall be against Egyptians. Y'all are the Egyptians. If you don't believe that, you can look up things online where it shows you how they built Washington, D.C. There's a lot of parallels. Look at your money. Your money got a damn pyramid on your dollar bill. Got an owl. Why do you think he does that? He does that because he got you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in slavery again. Not that he was the ancient pharaoh, but he's the modern day pharaoh. And Babylon is a whole conglomerate of all the wicked kingdoms in one. That's why you can read the book of Nahum and see parallels between Nahum and now. You can read the book of pretty much all the books. If it wasn't Assyria, it was Babylon. If it wasn't Babylon, it was the Greeks or the Romans. And all of them are cultivated today. Worshipping ancient gods like Baal, Ishtar. You got the pentagram. You literally work out of a pentagram. And if that don't show you he the wicked, I don't know what else will. The whole military is in a fucking pentagram. Niggas wicked as hell. You got a pentagram, the way it, if you look at it from above, the streets it's like a 5-point star, but it ain't fully closed yet. I don't know what he's trying to do yet, but he's trying to. You can find it online. But it just goes to show you, man. Who knows what he got underneath the city? You grab this in the book of Job 9 and 24. Book of Job 9 verse 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And if it's not Esau running the whole world, who is? Who can persecute him? Who can make war with the beast? If he can break the law he already implemented and no one can persecute him with, who else can do that? Everyone else is playing by the rules, but he don't have to. It shows you. Shows you who's in power. He's the one who's showing a white Jesus Christ. You got Jesus Christ temples all over throughout the world. You can't win with you got idolatrous temples in your kingdom. That's why the Lord is going to destroy this whole place. That shit's everywhere, man. As a matter of fact, let me go into Josiah. I was thinking about him. Josiah. I think it's, let me see where he's at. I know there's one in Chronicles. And the sons of Josiah, no. 2 Chronicles 34:1. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 130 years. So he was 8 years old when he reigned, and he reigned in Jerusalem for 31 years. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the ways of David his father, and declined neither to the right hand nor to the left. So that means he stayed on the right path, man. He kept, he was obedient to the Lord. 2 Chronicles 34:3, for in the 8th year of his reign, while he was yet young, he began to seek after the God of David, his father. And in the 12th year, he began to purge Judah and Jerusalem from the high places and the groves and the carved images and the molten images. So he went to seek after David, his father. Okay, so he understood what the Lord, what kind of heart you gotta have. You know, you're thinking about David. He's thinking about David. He's thinking about seeking after the Lord. He's 8 years old and he understands this. But you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans don't even understand that. This is an 8-year-old. Maduro don't even understand that. 2 Chronicles 34:4, and they break down the altars of Balaam in his presence, and the images that were on the high above them he cut down, and the groves and the carved images and the molten images he break in pieces, and made dust of them, and strawed it upon the graves of them that had sacrificed unto them. There you go. Breaking down the groves, the temples, going into the high places, taking that shit down, burnt it up, and poured the ashes out on the people who sacrificed unto that shit. And that's what's gonna happen to y'all. The Lord's gonna burn this place up, and the ashes and your grave's gonna be here. You're gonna be one with your ash over here for worshiping these false idols. 2 Chronicles 34:5. It says, and he burnt the bones of the priests upon their altars and cleansed Judah and Jerusalem. So if you ain't doing this, you ain't doing nothing. No matter what allies you got. Israel thought they had allies, and what happened? The Lord still came in there with the sword. We read this in the book of Isaiah, the 10th chapter. So Esau knows he just makes y'all go off. And that's all he really needs to do. He understands that your God's gonna punish you. He gonna allow him to go in there and whip your ass. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 5. O Assyrian, the rod of my anger and the staff in their hand is my indignation. So the Assyrians that took down the northern kingdom was the staff in his hand, which was his righteous anger. You deserve the ass whipping that he was gonna bring upon you. And he brought the heathen nations to do it. Just like he just sent in Esau to get Maduro out of his bed. He gonna do it to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You, your wife, all of that. Wake up the next morning, you're gonna be somewhere locked up in a prison. Not knowing how the fuck you get up in here. It's because you transgress these laws. Now, that's not to say that some men ain't gonna get locked up for righteousness' sake. It tells you in Revelation, the 2nd chapter, that, let me grab it. Revelation chapter 2, in verse 10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So, Maduro's not getting locked up for righteousness' sake. Probably. And some flip-flops, getting mug shot. Him and his wife. Sitting in an American prison somewhere. Who knows? He might be over there and he might have shipped them over to the terrorist unit and where he's sending all you so-called Venezuelans at. God, it's in Honduras or some shit like that. Who knows where he's at? Praying to Jesus Christ still. Foolishness. 2 Chronicles 34:6. And so did he in the cities of Manasseh and Ephraim and Simeon, even unto Naphtali, with their matocks round about. And when he had broken down the altars and the groves, and had beaten the graven images into powder, and cut down all the idols throughout all the land of Israel, he returned to Jerusalem. So he cleansed the land of all that idol worship. And we're going to do the same thing. There's going to be no damn half-moon crescents in Jerusalem. That's just getting burnt down. Burning all that shit down. All you heathen nations, all your gods, all that shit's getting burnt down. All your temples, there's only one God. You're going to know it. And Israel's going to show you that. We're going to show you there's one God, and your God ain't going to deliver you in that time when your shit getting burnt down. And that's according to the law. Let me grab it. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 25. Graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein, for it is an abomination to the Lord thy God. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it, but thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing. You bring different things into your house that you ain't supposed to bring into your house. That's showing you who you actually worship. That's why you see people falling out today. They're taking the bag, they're desiring the gold that's on these idols. Just like Jesus Christ, God of the homosexuals. That's their God. He's a homosexual, Cesare Borgia. He was in a relationship with Leonardo da Vinci. That's who you worship. That's who's giving you money, the LGBTQ. They want you to not talk about them getting put to death and getting burnt up. They want to feel comfortable. And they got a lot of money. So they break off bread and they give it to you. They all sit round about, hey, you know, what can we do with this dude? Oh, just pay him. Just pay him. How much to give him 100 million. Give him 150 million. You ain't even gonna have time to spend it. You're gonna die. So it shows you what idol you worship, man. You just like it. Deuteronomy chapter 12, in verse 1. These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land which the Lord God of thy fathers giveth thee to possess it all the days that ye live upon the earth. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree. And ye shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire, and ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods and destroy the names of them out of that place. And that's what Josiah was doing. 8 years old. 8 years old, man. He was smarter than you niggas, man. Y'all get some power, you don't know what the fuck to do with it. You didn't even rule as long as Israel ruled. The kings before you. That shows you how wicked Maduro actually was. You ain't even, let's see how long he actually reigned. Because he's like a modern day king. How long did Nicolas Maduro reign? 13 years. From April 19, 2013 until his abrupt capture and removal by U.S. forces on January 3rd, 2026. An 8-year-old had a longer rulership than you, man. You should have been getting them groves out of there. You should have read 2 Chronicles, the 34th chapter. Let's keep going, as a matter of fact. 2 Chronicles, so the reason why I'm bringing out Deuteronomy 7 and Deuteronomy 12 is because this is what he was reading. He was a young man at 8 years old. Let me grab this in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. In verse 1. It says, Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So you gotta remember your Creator, man. And that's what Josiah did. He remembered his Creator. And he sought him. That was the time when Israel was going off. And we got to do the same thing. Second Chronicles, and we could do that by getting the idols, the shit that we believe in, getting them shits up out of our minds. Second Chronicles 34 verse 7, and when he had broken down the altars in the groves and had beaten the graven images into powder and cut down all the idols throughout all the land of Israel, he returned to Jerusalem. Now in the 18th year of his reign, when he had purged the land and the house, he sent Shaphan, the son of Azaliah, and Maaseiah, the governor of the city, and Joah, the son of Joahaz, the recorder, to repair the house of the Lord, his God. That's what we're doing. We're repairing the house of the Lord. Ultimately, we're building up that third temple, which are the elect. But they need to get built up. 2 Chronicles 34 and verse 9. And when they came to Hilkiah, the high priest, they delivered the money that was brought into the house of God, which the Levites that kept the doors had gathered of the hand of Manasseh and Ephraim, and of all the remnant of Israel, and of all Judah and Benjamin, and they returned to Jerusalem. And they put it in the hand of the workmen that had the oversight of the house of the Lord, and they gave it to the workmen that wrought in the house of the Lord to repair and amend the house. Even to the artificers and builders gave they it to buy hewn stone and timber for couplings and to floor the houses which the kings of Judah had destroyed. So they gathered their money together to build up the house. Not get the bag to build up their own house. Like it tells you in the book of Haggai. Let me grab that real quick. They were doing the opposite in the book of Haggai. Here they're putting their money together to rebuild the house, but in the book of Haggai they were doing the exact opposite. Haggai chapter 1 verse 2. Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, this people say, the time has not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. This is what the people were saying. It's not come for the time for the Lord's house to be built. Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? So yeah, it's time for you to build your house. Meanwhile, the Lord's house lies waste. Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. And that's what you're doing. You earning wages, you taking the bag with holes in it. You're not even gonna be able to spend that money, man. You might have a lot more money, but it's a bag of holes. There's a lot of things you gotta do in order to keep it. There's stipulations you gotta sacrifice yourself. You gotta destroy yourself, man. That's ultimately that's your covenant with death. You're making a covenant with the heathen. And that's not gonna sustain you, man. You're gonna lose. We here to get the victory, man. We ain't here to lose to a fucking sodomite. Fuck this nigga, man. You gotta die, so what, man? You're gonna die anyways. You already dying. You're dying every single day. You don't know what this nigga be putting in your food? You don't know what's in the air? Nigga dropping aluminum, barium oxide, whatever the fuck he's dropping in the skies. That shit causes cancer, man. That shit causes your body to deteriorate. And if the Lord ain't dealing with you, he can give you over to that. Give you a horrible death. It's the book of Haggai 1 verse 7. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build a house, and I'll take pleasure in it, and I'll be glorified, saith the Lord. That's what the Lord's being glorified in his elect, just like he told you in John 17. John 17, Yahweh Shah said, I pray not for the world. He ain't praying for all you Israelites out there. He's praying for the nation, the elect of Israel, because he's actually going to be glorified in them. He ain't getting glorified with you niggas selling out. How the fuck he getting glorified with that? You glorifying the so-called white man by taking the bath. He's glorified enough. He getting the shameful spewing from the elect. He don't deserve any more praise. Only praise he deserved is when them thermonuclear missiles come and get his ass. That's what's coming to him. Haggai chapter 1, and verse 9. Ye looked for much, and lo, it came to little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why? Saith the Lord of hosts, because of my house that is waste, and ye run every man unto his own house. So in Haggai, the first chapter, the first verse, the first chapter, Israel didn't want to build the Lord's house. But Josiah, they will donating money for him to rebuild it. 2 Chronicles 34 and verse number 11. Even to the artificers and builders gave they it to buy hewn stone and timber for couplings, and to floor the houses which the kings of Judah had destroyed. And the men did the work faithfully, and the overseers of them were Jahath and Obadiah, the Levites, the sons of Merari, and Zechariah and Meshullam, of the sons of the Kohathites, to set it forward. And other of the Levites, all that could skill of instruments of music. And that's what we're doing, man. We're playing the harp, just like David. These demons, we're cleaning up this place, man. We're cleaning up the house. The Lord said he'll purge his floor. That's ultimately what he's doing with his elect. He's not doing that with everybody, man. Because you're in Malachi, the 3rd chapter, you're going to see who serves the Lord and who serves him not. You can kind of already see it if you've been watching. Keep looking. Scripture's got a rubric on pretty much how the elect would be in these last days. If you don't see what the Lord told you to be doing, then you don't read your Bible. You need to read it all over again. Maybe you need to get taught all over again. Maybe you got to take something away from you. Maybe you gotta hurt you. Maybe you gotta take your eye out or something. Maybe that'll get you to get on the right path. It's the book of 2 Chronicles 34:13. Also, they were over the bearers of burdens, and were overseers of all that wrought the work in any manner of service. And of the Levites there were scribes and officers and porters. And when they brought out the money that was brought into the house of the Lord, Hilkiah the priest found a book of the law of the Lord given by Moses. And Hilkiah answered and said to Shaphan the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord. And Hilkiah delivered the book to Shaphan. And Shaphan carried the book to the king and brought the king word back again, saying, all that was committed to thy servants, they do it. And they gathered, let me look this up, 2 Chronicles 34, verse 16. What time is it? Oh, I gotta go. I'll look this up. 2 Chronicles 34, verse 16. This takes place during the reign of King Josiah, one of the few righteous kings of Judah. While repairing the temple of the Lord, the priest discovered the book of the law of the Lord given by Moses. Verse 16 records Shaphan the scribe reporting back to Josiah after receiving the book from Hilkiah the priest. This verse shows faithfulness and order in the kingdom at this moment. It says Shaphan carried the book of the king, the word of the Most High. So don't tell me that Josiah didn't even have the book yet and he was doing that. That makes me think about Romans the 2nd chapter. But I gotta look more into that. But let's keep going. I'm gonna finish reading it since I'm already here. 2 Chronicles 34, in verse 17, and they have gathered together the money that was found in the house of the Lord and have delivered it into the hand of the overseers. Hold on, did I? Yep, into the hand of the workmen. Then Shaphan the scribe told the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest have given me a book. And Shaphan read it before the king. And it came to pass when the king had heard the words of the law that he rent his clothes. So he cleared everything according to Deuteronomy 7 and Deuteronomy 12. But let me grab Romans the 2nd chapter, because that's what it reminds me of. Romans 2 and 14. It says, for when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves. So when you do things by nature, the things that are in the law, you're a law unto yourself. So that's Israel. Israel does things. I was just saying this last night, how we don't eat our meat with blood in it. We ask for our steaks to be well done when we do eat it. That's according to the law. You're not supposed to eat meat with the blood in it, like Esau does. That's how he likes it, because he's wicked. That's just his nature. There's nothing righteous about this man. If you know the law, you know this nigga's a beast. He's a dog. He's worse than a dog. Okay? These people are profane people. They're perverse. That's why they do the shit that they do. The Lord made them that way. You still think they're righteous, you're a damn demon. And I'm talking about as a nation. It don't go, you always got to qualify. It ain't about your skin color. This is Israelites that, Pastor Kabar just did another video on that today. Not about your skin color, man. There's Israelites that are light skinned. There's Israelites that are dark. There's Edomites that are dark skinned. But it's the spirit. It's your spirit, man. Your spirit will be resonating with this word. There's men that look like so-called white men, and they out here prophesying the downfall of Babylon too. Because it's the spirit that beareth witness with our spirit that we're the sons of God. Who can tell that man that he ain't Israel? If he knows through the spirit that he is. Can't nobody take that away from him. The Lord revealed that unto him. Who are you to talk about somebody like that? But, you know, men of the Lord already know what's going on, so they should already know. But some people got tender ears, man. Some people got tender ears. They might think, oh, well, you know, you might offend the little one, so it's always good to qualify it. We ain't a fucking black extremist group. Even though that's how Esau wants to make us look. But fuck Esau. 2 Chronicles 34 and verse 19 again. And it came to pass when the king had heard the words of the law that he rent his clothes. And that's what we did when we heard how we were transgressing the laws. Renting your clothes is a way he's mourning now. Because he understands how far Israel went off. And we understand that too. Especially coming to the point where you can talk to an Israelite and he can't receive none of the law. He ain't renting his clothes. He hear the law, he look at you like, who the fuck are you? When the poor man speaketh, man, they don't listen to him. 2 Chronicles 34 and 20, and the king commanded Hilkiah and Ahikam the son of Shaphan, and Abdon the son of Micah, and Shaphan the scribe, and Asaiah, a servant of the king's, saying, go inquire of the Lord for me, and for them that are left in Israel and in Judah, concerning the words of the book that is found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that is poured out upon us, because our fathers have not kept the word of the Lord to do after all that is written in this book. And that's what we realized. We had the same realization. Our nation didn't do that. Now that we can go far back into history, you can see that y'all ain't never kept the law. All these revolutions and all of that, it was still a rebellious spirit because you weren't keeping the law. But the Lord, like he said in Isaiah, the 1st chapter, he got a remnant of Israel. Or we would have been like Sodom and Gomorrah. So a lot of us, some of us, the elect, the hopeful elect, they're making their calling and election sure because they had that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding now. And they know they don't need everybody to do that. This is between you and the Lord. Okay? 2 Chronicles, I gotta get out of here. 34:22, and Hilkiah and they that the king had appointed went to Huda the prophetess, the wife of Shalem, the son of Tikva, the son of Hazra, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college, and they spake to her to that effect. Yeah, she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college. Let me look that up. I think when you look up the word college, it means where they copy. So what they would do is they would copy the law, to preserve this word. So they understood the law, they would copy it, let me look it up. When you look at the word college, 2 Chronicles 34. Before I found a liar. 2 Chronicles 34. And probably gonna end it right here because I gotta go. Where's that word college? Yeah, there's a lot more left, so I gotta end it here. 2 Chronicles 34 and 22. I'm looking up the word college.
Strong's Acts 49:32.
Mishnah, it says double, copy, second, repetition. Look at Justinian's lexicon. It says a duplicate, Strong's definition of repetition, a duplicate, copy of a document. College, copy, double. So that's what they would do, man. Keep writing this law over and over. I'm in here. Lord's will, this is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash, Shalom, Abad Babal, and Kwam Yasharala.